Hello, my name is Kim, and welcome to another episode of Murderous Madams. Today, we talk about Lizzie Borden. Why Lizzie Borden? Because it's the 123rd anniversary of her parents' murders. And she's also my favorite case to study, so here we go. Lizzie Borden was born on July 19th, 1866 in Fall River, Massachusetts. She lived at 92nd Street. She was the youngest daughter of Sarah and Andrew Borden. But alas, Sarah died of an illness when Lizzie was just 2 years old. Her older sister Emma swore to take care of Lizzie. You know, they had another daughter, but she sadly died at 2 years old. Her name was Alice. And then sometime later, Andrew married Abby Gray. And Emma hated Abby, if not more so than Lizzie, and Emma really poisoned Lizzie to hate her stepmother. The tension was so bad that they stopped eating meals together. And Lizzie called her Mrs. Borden. Not really sure if Emma did, but maybe. They also had a maid named Bridget Sullivan. They called her Maggie because that was the name of their last maid, and that's just what they called her out of habit. Andrew was known to be tight-fisted, but Abby's sister, Mrs. Sarah Whitehead, her house was getting foreclosed upon or something like that, and he made sure that didn't happen. The house was all hers, nothing owed. Lizzie and Emma found out about this and were outraged. They saw this as a betrayal and that he was choosing their stepmother's family over his own children. On August 3rd, Uncle John Morse came over for business matters. This was on August 3rd, the night before their murders. On August 4th, 1892, Abby and Andrew Borden were murdered. Abby was upstairs fixing the guest bedroom when someone came up behind her with a hatchet and struck her 18 times. And that was at 9:30. When Andrew came home at 11, he was greeted by Lizzie and Bridget. And Bridget swore she heard Lizzie laughing, but just shrugged it off, I guess. Let Mr. Borden in, and he took a nap, and he was whacked in the head 11 times. Now, during this time that Mr. Borden was getting murdered, Bridget was upstairs taking a nap, and then Lizzie called down to her 5 minutes later, and Bridget ran to get the doctor, and, the cops were called, and the Borden mystery began. Emma said she was in Fairhaven and rushed right home, although her alibi was never checked out. So eventually, Lizzie became their number one suspect. On the same day, 2,000 people mobbed in front of their house, and Lizzie was arrested and jailed for 10 months. She went to trial in June of 1893. And she gave inconsistent testimony, and a lot of that had to do because she was on morphine. So that kind of messed with her system. And the prosecution in that case could not catch a break. And also, it was revealed that Lizzie tried to buy prussic acid, but she couldn't buy it without a doctor's prescription. She said she was going to clean a sealskin cape, and obviously not a lot of people believe that, but that's what she said. And eventually they reached the end. Oh, and in between there, she knocked a box over, and Abby and Andrew's skulls fell out. That made her faint. And right before they the jury went to deliberate, she said, "I am innocent. I leave it to my counsel to speak for me." And they acquitted her in the end. Lizzie spent the rest of her life in Fall River, and she bought a house on the hill where she always wanted to live and called it Maple Crock. And she was ostracized for the rest of her life. Sometime in 1909, Lizzie met Nance O'Neill and fell in love with her, I guess. And this caused her and Emma to break apart, and Emma left. Lizzie died June 1st, 1927, and Emma went to her own grave 9 days later. And if you really want more information, check out this book. I got it at half price, and I don't think it's in print anymore, but if you do find it, read it. It's awesome. Also, check out this. It is like a documentary. Also, if you want to go movie-wise, check out the one but with Elizabeth Montgomery. She and Lizzie Borden are like 6 cousins. It's really awesome. Avoid the one with Christina Ricci. I'm sorry, I just didn't like it. I thought it was awful and riddled with historical inaccuracies. And it had rock and roll music. That's it. See you on another episode of Murderous Madams.